What's up, everybody? It's your favorite original names, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Bingo Toys Spider Lady, which is their take on Black Arachnia, I believe. This is on loan to me from Robert D, as you might imagine. And this is, it's funny, I thought it was perhaps based on, but I couldn't remember who did it, but it is. It's based on their Windblade figure that they did some time ago, which I have mixed feelings about. I thought the kind of action figure was really cool, and then some of the Transformer element of it I thought was a bit off. My first impressions of this are kind of the same, with the exception of the transformation, which we'll get to after we get to the figure, which we'll do after we get to the accessories. Accessory-wise, she does come with a number of hands. You get left and right holding hands, left and right fist hands, left and right supporting hands, and that's in addition to the left and right relaxed hands that you saw in the opening footage. You also get additional faces. We have the kind of skin tone face and the gold face. You get kind of two variations of a smile on both. One smile with the tongue sticking out, and then one kind of screaming face. Once again, for both, the skin tone faces have the red lipstick. She has an alternate crest. It's painted gold, and then has red metallic in the center there for an accent. Nicely done. She comes with a gun. We have pad printed paint there on the top with the red symbol, as well as the purple accent. And the sculpt is cool enough. And she'll hold that just fine in her holding hand. There is a port inside of the bug butt for the gun to plug into while in spider mode. And then it creates like a little like stinger as well, which I think is cool. She also comes with a sword. The blade is painted with that metallic purple. Looks fantastic. And she'll hold that in her holding hand as well. The swords, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do. There's a couple different options. The handles are on ball pegs. So you can add like an extra kind of claw here. You can plug them in up top. You can plug them in on her bug butt. You know what I mean? Like you could plug them in here on any of the shoulder, like the shoulder joints. Like you could plug one in underneath and have it kind of like this. Like there's a lot of options. She comes with 6 spider legs. I meant to say she comes with 2 swords too, by the way. Not just the one, she comes with 2. So she comes with 6 spider legs while we're on the topic of numbers. And they are nicely done. We get pad printed paint purple on top of the gold, as well as the purple accent there. That's on a ball peg. And then we have a hinge at the bottom and then a peg where it pegs in to the bot itself. And no mystery where those go. You have 6 holes there that will align for the legs. So no issues. You also get her bug's butt, so to speak. The onyx paint throughout. There are some movements to this. And then we have the pad printed silver paint with the red accents. We also have a peg, which you can connect to her backside. Now, I'm not going to use any of this while we get into the review. But when we get into size comparisons, I'll have it all armored up. She also comes with a display base, and you just peg in one side here. Not the best little tolerance. Let's try to see if I have any better luck. No, I'm not having a whole lot of luck. Let me see if I can get it off camera. Finally got it. Tight little spot. And then you can put this in for support. And then you can actually remove this piece and extend it with this one if you'd like. Up to you. That peg can go into the middle of her back if you have it extended, or underneath in the bug butt. And that same port on her chest you can use to plug her into the stand. But like I said, that joint's a little weak for the amount of weight it has to support. Well, you'll see. And let's get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. So I think it looks good. I think I prefer the more human faces, but this is Robert's figure. I'll let him rock it however he prefers. The gold is painted. The red is chromed on the eyes. The red is painted on the crest. The gold is painted on the tips. I think this whole black is painted with like a metallic onyx, and then we have the silver kind of circles there. Articulation wise, we have a double ball peg from the head into the neck, single from the neck into the chest. The neck is completely painted with a metallic purple. You get up to there, down to there, a swivel, confused dog look a little bit, and then all of these kind of things are on their own independent ball pegs, which you can sort of utilize as you see fit. We'll tuck them in for the time being. We have shoulder pads. So the shoulder pads are connected to the shoulder, which is my preferred way to do it. You can extend them on a hinge. The shoulders themselves are on basically a disc hinge that gets you up past 90 degrees. There's also a swivel where it connects into the chest, so you get a bit of a butterfly. And then you get the motion around as well. You just have to be careful of the shoulder pad as you do so, but you can get 360 there. You have this nice pad printed paint for the purple, and then the gold is painted as well. The black, I think, it continues to be painted throughout. And then we have a double jointed elbow that gets you the full run with a bicep swivel. Silver accents here, black accents there with the pad printed paint look good, and then the silver on the hand. And then the hand is on a ball peg. Does have a tendency to pop off if you move it too far to one angle or the other, but if you stay within the framework, you'll be fine. All right, what do we have? So pretty impressive articulation in the abdominal area. So we have the chest, which is painted gold, and then the red and purple accents. What feels like it's a double hinge at the waist, so you can get a full rotation back and forward. There's a ball peg from the abdomen, from the chest into the abdomen, but I don't even know if you really need it. I guess that's where your swivel. Yeah, that's where your swivel is going to come, but it is a tight little joint there, so be cautious. Unfortunately, we have to get into kind of trouble in paradise, which is where the hips are. So you have these hip skirts, they're painted gold, they're on a ball peg, they get up and out of the way. You have the accents here with the silver circles as well as the red and gold accent. Everything else pretty status quo. Then we have universals for hips, but the tolerance is a bit off on these, much like the chest tolerance. So you can get out for the full Van Dam, no problem. The problem is getting it back to the rested position. So as you do so, the drop downs have a tendency to move instead of the actual hip joint. So my advice so far, the best I've gotten, is drop down the drop down joint and then rotate the thigh in, not too much, and then set it back. So same on this side, drop down the thigh joint, rotate the thigh in, and then set it back. And that should get you pretty close back to a neutral stance. All right, so forward and back, bit different. So you kind of get the full Monty. The only issue is they kind of come off at an angle due to the engineering of the pelvis versus the hips. Not the worst thing in the world, but not the best thing either. Thigh swivels, we have purple metallic paint here, red metallic, and then the pad printed silver. We have a double jointed knee. The knee joint covers down on the shin joint and helps cover up the knee, which is nice. It moves on its own. And you'll see it go back into place there. And then we have more silver circles, not to be confused with silver surfers. Gold accents there, red accents there, gold accents on the bottom. We have disc hinges, or I guess technically ball hinges for the ankles, which get you an ankle tilt up, an ankle tilt down, and you can rotate it and get you a rocker. So all of the articulation works pretty well, the only exception being some of the waist joints. And then there she is from the back, obviously, without all the accoutrement. Size comparison-wise, I'm not exactly sure what you would be looking for here, but to give you an idea, there she is next to an MP Seeker. She comes up to about the bottom of his head, so to speak, so hopefully that gives you some sort of an idea. I'll tell you what, I can do you one better. There she is with Advanced Toys Insecticon, in case you were planning on perhaps even going that route, which I wouldn't be mad at, honestly. Kind of like the Queen Bee, you know? But there that is. All right, let's go ahead and get her transformed, and I've already taken off. Oh, no, I thought I had. Take that off. I would really, honestly, I probably would take the arms off, too. Like, just, you know what I mean? Get stuff out of the way, but since it's there, we gotta get this forearm piece up, rotate the fists in, and then close back down and bring out your spider claws. So same on this side, up, fists in, spider claws. And then we have this. So let me zoom in a little bit. Actually, let me just raise the camera up while we're here. And rotate your little bits here vertically to kind of become the mandibles for the spider. Untab the chest, rotate the chest 180, and then sit the chest over the face. Nothing tabs in or anything. This is kind of the issue I have with a lot of these companies. Extend the waist, rotate the waist 180 using caution, and then collapse the waist back in. Rotate the arms up and rotate them in on the butterfly joint. This is just to give you room to do the next step, which is bring these gold pieces on a double hinge down. Same on this side. And you have to rotate all your spider legs around, which will be fairly obvious when you go to kind of utilize the spider anyway, but we'll kind of go through it quickly for the sake of doing it. And then these, I think, like, I don't know if they go up or I think, well, you got to rotate them anyway. So bring them up. And angle, oh, on this side, idiot. Angle them in. And then, I guess you do whatever you want with these. I don't know if they're like front pincers. I don't know. Take your bug butt, open up everything that you can, including this flap underneath. All of this extends. Rotate this around 180. And I think that should get you there. You have tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, tab 4 with slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, and then this tab goes back into her backside. I'm not going to waste too much of your time with this. I'm going to give it a quick try. If it goes, beautiful. If it doesn't, I'll be back. There's half. All right, so relatively painless. And then we'll try to get this back in her backside, but this was a problem to begin with. So I'll go ahead and get that off camera. All right, drop the hips. The same hips that we had issues with before. And open this up the best you can. Collapse the heel and the toe and rotate this back on the double hinge, and you have to encapsulate it with the shell, and it tabs in to the back of the shell, which is a pain, but we'll try it over here and then see if we can't finagle it. And if not, I'll get it off camera. There. And then you just gotta, there's one. There's two. Nice. And then you can bring this up, and I think this tabs back in one. It's hard to see this black plastic. Came undone. But that's basically it. Let me just keep messing with it and cleaning up. But that's what you're looking for ultimately. I'll get it cleaned up. We'll take a look at it. And moving on to the alt mode. There it is. And I think it's fine. I think it's actually a clever use of what they had before. And you can angle these I'm having actually a hard time getting her to support her weight, but maybe if I use her body as support for the legs, then that will help. No, like, it's just like, it's a heavy, especially back heavy with all this stuff. And, the legs are just having a heck of a time. Let me see if I put these back here. You know, we'll figure it out in real time. Yeah, not really. Not really. So that's a bit of a bummer. And then we have this mouth, ouch, here. It got me. With the teeth in it and such, and I think that that's cool. And yeah, I don't have this 100% plugged in right, but you get the idea. Doesn't really affect my opinion of it. Well, it does in a way, but not for the reasons that you may think. So yeah, I don't know. It's fine. You know, I think it's clever. I think it's smart in terms of how it utilized the mold. I'm just not sure if it's effective. But effectively, there it is with Tiger Tracks, to give you an idea. Tied game. Moving on to final thoughts, let's go ahead and start with the negative. Those hip joints are obnoxious. They're even more blatantly so because they're one of the few joints that are not toleranced properly, where everything else is toleranced really well as far as the action figure is concerned. The only other point of interest being the chest to the abdomen area is a little too tight as well. And as far as the action figure goes, that covers most of it. However, there's other elements here that aren't quite right, like the stand not really pegging into the base easily. And I want to say there was something else. I mean, the hands kind of rotating off of the ball pegs fairly easily, stuff like that. Those are kind of my biggest issues here, you know, at least as far as robot mode is concerned. But honestly, all of those kind of nuts and bolts action figure complaints or criticisms that I have are easily overlooked. But what I have a harder time overlooking is, for one, the transformation. Once again, this is another one of those transformations where, like, they basically have to utilize a whole separate piece, which is her bug butt, in order to get the figure to sort of be manipulated into any real meaningful shape. You know, so it's not actually included in the figure. It's like they don't have that under control. It's like they don't know what they're doing in that regard. And lastly, I mean, the ball pegs for the bug arms might have been a good idea cost-wise, but they don't support the weight of the figure, and unfortunately, that's only going to get worse over time. Moving on to the positives, most of the engineering regarding the action figure element is really, really, really solid, you know, except for those couple aforementioned spaces. The materials feel good, like the plastics feel good, and the paint is phenomenal from top to bottom. It's absolutely extremely well painted, and all the accessories are kind of appropriate, smart. They give you tons of faces, they give you a lot of hands, enough weapons to make an impact. Like, I don't have any issue with a lot of the action figure element here. So I do think there's enough good here to recommend, especially as a display piece, but it is ultimately a soft recommend from me. If they figure out how to become like kind of a real Transformer company, I think you'll see me give it more of a solid recommend. But until then, we'll wait patiently. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.